In this lesson, we're going to try our hands on this question I have on the screen here, which says that we should find the current in all parts of the circuit below. So from the circuit diagram here, you see that what the current in the various parts of the circuit has been what labeled, except the current in these 2 ohms resistor here. So that means what we have to label it ourselves. So first of all, I'm going to consider the direction to be in this direction, and then I'll name it as current X. Okay, so now let's look at what happens there. So you see that what at this node here, this current X is moving towards the node, and then this current I2 minus I3 is also moving towards the node, and then this current I3 from this 10-volt source is also moving towards what this node here. Okay, all right. So because all this current are moving towards what the node F, we will see that what X plus I2 minus what I3 plus this current I3 here. Okay, that's plus I3 will be equal to what 0. Okay, because what they are all moving towards what this node. Okay, and you know that what the sum of the current moving towards the node equals what the sum of the current what moving away from the node. But in this case, all the current are moving towards what node F. So we are going to equate it to what 0. So then I have what X plus I2 because what this I3 and then this I2 will cancel out. So that will be equal to what, 0. So I then have what X to be equal to what minus I2. So that's the value of what X. Okay, so instead of this X here, you can write what negative I2 there. Okay, so you are going to note here that X equals what minus I2. Okay, so let's have that written down. Okay, so now let's continue. So from here, I'm going to consider the circuit loop by loop. Okay, so I'm going to apply KVL to the loops. Okay, so the first loop I'll take will be loop BCDAB. So I'm going to apply KVL to loop BCDAB. Now consider the direction of the current in this loop to be in this direction. Okay, so we know that from KVL, total voltage should be equal to the sum of the voltage drops in the loop. So I have what 7 to be equal to the voltage drop across of these 2 ohms here. Okay, and that what 2 multiplying with the current I1. So that was 2 I1. Okay, and then plus the voltage drop across with this 3 ohms resistor, and that will be 3 multiplying with I1 minus what I2. Okay, so those are the resistors in that loop. So let's simplify this. So this will give us what 7 to be equal to 2I1 plus 3I1 minus 3I2. Okay, so simplifying this, we have what 7 equals what 5I1 minus 3I2. Let's name this as equation 1. Okay, so now you are going to apply KVL to loop CEFDC. Okay, so apply KVL to loop CEFDC. Okay, so I'll consider the direction of the current in this loop to be in the clockwise direction. Okay, so which means any current that will move against this direction will be what negative current. So now let's continue. So now I'll consider the voltage drop across what this 3 ohms resistor. Okay, so you have what 0 equals what minus 3 multiplying what I1 minus what I2. Okay, I made here 0 because we don't have what any voltage source in this loop. So we consider the total voltage to be what? 0. And then I negated this value here because the current moving through the 3 ohms is moving the direction opposite to the direction that we took. That's why I negated the 3 here. Okay, so this will be minus 2x. Okay, this is because the current in the 2 ohms here is also moving the direction opposite to the direction we chose. Okay, so that's why I made it what? Minus 2x. So that will be plus 2 multiplying what? I2 minus what? I3. And that one is positive because the current is moving the same direction as what? The direction we chose for the loop. And then plus 5I2, which is also positive. Okay, so let's simplify this. This will give me 0 equals minus 3I1 plus 3I2 minus 2x. Okay, we know x equals what? Minus I2. So that will be 2 multiply what? Minus I2. And then plus 2I2 minus 2I3 plus 5I2. So let's simplify this further. So this will give me minus 3I1 plus 3I2 plus 2I2 plus 2I2 minus 2I3 plus 5I2. So now let's group like terms. Okay, so I have what? 0 to be equal to what? Minus 3I1. And then we have what? I2 here. We have I2 here. We have I2 here. And then we have what? I2 here. So I'm going to add 5 plus 2, which is what? 7. Plus this 2, which will be what? 9. And then plus what? This 3. And that will be what? 12. So you have what? Plus 12I2. And then minus what? 2I3. So minus what? 2I3. So let's name this as what? Equation 2. So now let's apply KVL to loop EGHFE. Okay, so apply KVL to loop EGHFE. Okay, so we know that what the total voltage in this loop is what? 10 volts. Okay, so that will be 10 equals what? The voltage drops in the loop. And I'm going to consider the direction of this loop to be in this direction. Okay, so that will be equal to 2I3. Okay, minus 2 multiplying what? I2 minus what? I3. This is because this current here will move the direction opposite to what? This general direction that we chose here. Okay, so simplifying this, you have what? 10 equals what? 2I3 minus 2I2 plus 2I3. So this will give us 10 equals 4I3 minus what? 2I2. Let's name this equation 3. Okay, so now let's write down the equation so that we can have some space to continue with the workings. So we have 7 equals 5I1 minus 3I2 to be equation 1. And then we have 0 equals minus 3I1 plus 12I2 minus 2I3, which is what? Equation 2. Then we have them to be equal to 4I3 minus 2I2, which is equal to what? Equation 3. Okay, so now we have these 3 equations. Okay, so we are going to solve them simultaneously. But before we do that, let's look at what? Equation 3. You see that what? You can simplify equation 3 by dividing through by what? 2. So I'm going to divide by 2, divided by 2, divided by what? 2. So this will give me 5 equals what? 2I3 minus what? I2. Okay, so that's what equation 3 now. Okay, so from here, I'm going to make what? I2 the subject. Okay, so I'm going to make what? I2 the subject. So you have what? 5 minus 2 I3 to be equal to what? Minus what? I2. So I divide both sides by what? Minus 1. So this minus 1 will cancel out what? This minus here. So then we will have what? I2 to be equal to what? Minus 5 plus 2 I3. This is because this negative here will cancel out what? This negative here. And then 5 divided by what? Minus 1 give us what? Minus 5. So let's name this equation 4. Okay, so now what we will do here is that we are going to substitute equation 4 into what? Equation 1 and then 2. So sub equation 4 into 1 and 2. So from equation 1, you have what? 7 equals 5I1 minus 3I2. But we know I2 to be what? Minus 5 plus 2I3. So this will give us what? 7 equals 5I1 plus 15 minus 6I3. Okay, so simplifying this, I'll have what? 7 minus 15 equals 5I1 minus 6I3. So this will give me what? Minus 8 equals 5I1 minus 6I3. Okay, let's name this equation 5. So now I'm going to substitute what? Equation 4 into what? Equation 2. Okay, now let's continue. Okay, so from equation 2, that's what? 0 equals minus 3I1 plus 12I2. But we know I2 to be what? Minus 5 plus 2I3. Then minus what? 2I3. Now let's simplify this. So you have what? 0 equals minus 3I1. Then 12 multiply what? Minus 5. That gives us what? Minus 60. And then 12 multiplying 2I3. That what? Plus 24I3 minus 2I3. Okay, so now let's continue. So this will give us what? 0 equals what? Minus 3I1 minus 60 plus 22I3, because what? These two here what will be subtracted from what? 24. So simplifying this, we have what? 60 equals minus 3I1 plus 22I3. Let's name this as what? Equation 6. Okay, so now our main focus is going to be on what? Equation 5 and then equation 6. Okay, so now since our main focus is on equation 5 and then equation 6, I've taken out the question so that we get more space to solve for the remaining part of the question. So from equation 5, we have what? Minus 8 to be equal to 5I1 minus 6I3. So that's what? Equation 5. And then we have what? Equation 6 to be what? 60 equals minus 3I1 plus 22I3. That's what? Equation 6. So what I'll do here is that I want to get rid of what? The I1 here. So I'm going to multiply equation 5 by 3. And then I'll multiply what? Equation 6 by what? 5. So doing this, I'll get what? 3 multiplying what? Minus 8. That'll give me what? Minus 24. And that'll be equal to what? 3 multiplying what? 5I1. That'll be what? 15I1. And then 3 multiplying what? Minus 6I3. That'll be what? Minus 18I6. So let's name this equation 7. Okay. So now we are multiplying what? 5 by what? Equation 6. That was 5 times 60. That gives us what? 300, and this will be equal to what? 5 times what? Minus 3i. That will give us what? Minus 15i1. Okay, 5 multiply what? Minus 3i1. Then you have what? 5 times what? 22i3. So 5 times 22, that will be plus 110i3. So let's name this as what? Equation 8. Okay, so let's continue. So from here, we are going to add equation 7 and 8. So add 7 and 8. So adding 7 and 8, from this side here, we have what? Minus 24 plus what? 300. And that will give us what? 276. This will be equal to what? 15i1 plus minus 15i1. That will be what? 0. Then have what? Minus 18i3. This is supposed to be i3. Okay. Minus 18i3 plus 110. That gives us what? 92i3. So now you see that what you can find for the value of what? I3. So we divide both sides by 92. And then divide both sides by what? 92. So this 92 will cancel out this 92. So then you have what? 276 divided by 92. Then that gives us what? I3 to be equal to what? 3. So you have what? I3 to be equal to what? 3 amperes. Okay, so now you know the value of what? I3. So now which current value can we find again? Okay, so now let's go back to equation 3. Okay, so we have what? This equation here. So that's 5 equals 2i3 minus what? I2. And then we know I3 to be what? 3 amperes. So that was 5 equals what? 2 multiplying 3 minus what? I2. So that was 5 equals 6 minus I2. So you have what? 5 minus 6 equals what? Minus I2. So that gives us what? Minus 1 equals what? Minus I2. So let's continue from this side here. So we have what? Minus 1 equals minus I2. So we can divide both sides by minus 1, both sides by minus 1. So the negatives will cancel out. So at the end you have what? I2 to be equal to what? 1 ampere. Okay, so now we know the value of what? I2 and then what? I3. Okay, so now let's find what? I1. Okay, so I'm going to find I1 using what? Equation 1. Okay, which is what? This equation that I have here. Okay, so from that equation we have what? 7 equals what? 5I1 minus 3 multiplying what? I2, which we know to be what? 1 ampere. So therefore we have what? 7 equals 5I1 minus 3. So I take this 3 to the left hand side. So that was 7 plus 3 equals 5I1. And that will be equal to 10 equals 5I1. So we divide both sides by 5. Divide both sides by 5. So this 5 will cancel out this 5. And then 5 will go into 10 two times. So therefore what we have what? I1 to be equal to 2 amperes. So we have I1 to be 2 amperes and then I2 to be 1 ampere and then I3 to be what? 3 amperes. That's all for this session.